Okay, guys, so here we go. This is the last chapter for the book for the semester. It's chapter 13, and we're going to look at how to um, what we're learning in this chapter in Excel. Okay, so again, hopefully you've had time to learn how to do all this stuff by hand, because again, you just need to know how to do it. You need to know what's going on behind the scenes here. You can't just use Excel and just spit out the numbers and expect it to tell you something. You got to know what's going on with it. Okay, so that being said, let's go ahead and do this with Excel. Okay, um, so we're going to be using our data package again. So we're going to go to data, and we're going to look all the way over here to the right. And if we have this analysis group right here, with the data analysis pack in it, then we're good. But otherwise, you need to go to File. You need to go to Options. You need to go to Add-ins. With Excel add-ins picked from the drop-down, you need to click Go, and you need to click right there, Analysis Tool Pack. Okay, I already have it, so it's up here. So please don't forget how to do that. Again, I think I told you in the last chapter, but I'm not going to tell you how to do it during the test. You got to remember how to do that. All right, so in your Georgia view, and I'll put it on YouTube too, you have a file called Applewood. We're circling back all the way to the first unit, to chapters 1 through 4. Remember the Applewood Auto Group sales data. Well, that's what we have this time. That's what we're going to be using again. Okay, so let's see what we're looking at. It's only one sheet in the one worksheet within this workbook, right? And we have age as a column. So that's the age of the buyer, the profit we made off the sale. The location, remember we have 4 dealerships, TNS to Sheffield, Kane, and Olean. The vehicle type, sedan, SUV, hybrid, compact, truck, I think those are the only 5. And previous, how many previous purchase, how many times they bought from us before. Okay, so you should be watching this video after you've done the lesson, so I'm not going to explain exactly the meaning of correlation. This video isn't to learn correlation, this is to learn how to do correlation on Excel. We already have a video online for that. Look at chapter 13, part 1. And I think part of part 2, I can't remember. But anyway, all right, so let's correlate age and profit. What would the idea be? I would think personally that the older the buyer gets, the more disposable income they have, and the more they can spend on a car. The more they can spend on a car, that's going to be a higher profit for us, I would guess. That might not be the case, but let's just say that's what we think is going on in the company, and we want to test that. Okay? So we're going to do a few things. So we're going to correlate age and profit to see if there is indeed a correlation there. Remember, it's a coefficient that runs between -1 and 1. We'll get into this in a second, but yeah, so just remember that the closer to 1, the stronger. So even to -1, the closer to -1 still means a stronger correlation, doesn't it? 0 means no correlation. -1 doesn't mean no correlation. -1, number closer to -1, coefficient closer to -1 means a strong negative relationship, doesn't it? I.e., as the age would, in this case, would get older, the profit would go down, all right? So let's look at a couple ways to do this. The first way is we're going to look at our look at our data analysis package, and we're going to drop it down to correlation. Does everybody see that? So double click it or click OK, and we're going to input the range. Now this is important to know with this function in the data package, data analysis package. Your dependent variable, your x-axis, has to be on the left side. Your independent variable has to be on the right side, and multiple independent variables, yeah? Okay, so let's go ahead and highlight all the data we're interested in. Now we don't split it up, okay? We just highlight all the data we're interested in. That's why your independent variable has to be on the left. Why is age our independent variable, by the way? Oops. Control Shift down. Why is age our independent variable, by the way? It's because what? this thing's hard to use with this thing with the screen on top of it. But anyway, it is because why? Would age depend on the profit that Apple would made on the sale of the car? No, absolutely not. That's ludicrous, isn't it? But could profit that Apple would make on the sale of a car depend on the age of the buyer? Absolutely. In fact, I would argue it probably does. We're about to find out, aren't we? Okay, so we got our data highlighted. Again, our independent variable in the left-hand column, and we have it grouped in columns, don't we, our data? And we included the labels, didn't we? Okay, so our output range, we don't want a new worksheet. Let's just put it right here in G2. How about that? All right. So now let's click OK and see what we get. Wow, look at this. Okay, so age versus profit. We have age is, if age is 1 for every year, 1 year, the profit increases by 0.26%. Okay, so 1/4%. No, that's not what that means. Excuse me. Yeah, that is what that. No, that is not what that means. That is the coefficient. Okay. Sorry, we'll get to regressions next. I confused myself for a second. All right, so this is the correlation coefficient. Excuse me, 0.26. So a 0.5 correlation would be moderate, would it not? Okay, so there really is no correlation here, is there? I would argue that there's not really. It's weak if there is. Okay, weak positive correlation. Now, why could that be? Real world? Well, who knows? Maybe, you know, as people get older, they're not buying used cars at all. They're going to buy new cars, and this is obviously a used car lot. I'm thinking from the way we've always studied this semester. But anyway, you know, there could be all kinds of reasons for it. But all this stuff, by the way, that we're learning, sort of really just teaches you where to look, doesn't it? Okay, you still have to know your business. Okay, of course, these numbers are what help you know your business. All right, so there's actually an easier way to do this. So let's go ahead and use the formula equals Correl, C-O-R-R-E-L. Press tab. All right, so array 1 and array 2. Remember what arrays are. They're just groups of data. So array 1 is going to be A. These actually don't necessarily have to be in order. There's array 1, and here is array 2. Enter. And what's the correlation we got? 0.261. Same thing as this, isn't it? Okay. So that is the same as that. So you can use either Correl or you can use the data analysis. Okay, now we're going to build a scatter plot to represent our two variables, because the scatter plot will give us a sketching, an estimate of the direction and the strength of the correlation. Okay, you'll see what I mean here in just a second. But it's what we did in class, so you should, like, if you've already watched the videos, you'll know what we're talking about. So let's go ahead and build that scatter plot. So what are the two variables we're interested in again? Age and profit, right? Okay, so let's highlight those two columns. It does matter which column each one of those is in. So the independent variable should be over here on the left, and the dependent should be on the right. It's in order, X, Y, okay, alphabetical order. Okay, so let's go insert a scatter plot. All right, so there we have it, easy as that. And now what we want to do is we want to right click on the chart and an empty space on the chart, or actually on one of the dots, and we want to say add trend line, and there's our trend line. Okay, and we can also do this. We can say we can say go over here, and we can say, you can do it from there too. So you can say chart elements from the green cross and go down to the bottom, and trend line. And if you click on trend line, you can also, well, just leave it at that for now. Okay, we'll look at it in regression. There's a way to put your formula on here, but we'll do that when we get to regression, okay? So anyway, that is that line represents our correlation, doesn't it? So we have a 0.26, and as you can tell, it's positive. 0.5 would be a little steeper, wouldn't it? Here. Or like this, yeah? Okay, so you can see from that chart that we do have a positive, but not, that strong of a positive relationship, because no correlation would be a straight line across there, wouldn't it? Okay? Perfect correlation would be straight up and down. And why is that? Because they'd be stacked on top of each other, wouldn't they? Okay, so I hope this helps. Again, it's in the videos, but I just want to make sure everybody understands how to do this. You can slow this down, speed it up, and it's full view, full screen view. So anyway, you know where to find me if you have any questions. All right, very good. We will finish with one more video on chapter 13 here in just a minute. All right.